A journalism major at Emerson College, I decided it would be best if I could experience one of these lodges firsthand. After being allowed to tag along for the Thanksgiving trip, I was rewarded with nothing but experience after experience. First, I took a bus to Concord, New Hampshire, where Dan Myers, the alumni member hosting the weekend, picked me and a few other students up in his four-door sedan. He, his Uncle Rich, and his dad Bob then drove us and all of the Thanksgiving groceries to the parking lot on the outskirts of the lodge. It was a 3-hour drive from the station to the lodge, and by the time we arrived it was dark, 10 degrees Fahrenheit, and raining. Dan opened the trunk of the two vehicles we had been divided up into and told everyone to grab as many groceries as they could carry. "If everyone pulls their own weight, we won't have to make 2 trips, Dan said. So, with my backpack that was packed with enough clothes to last me the weekend, my tripod, and my camera bag, I proceeded to fill my hands and arms with groceries and make the uphill mile-long hike to the lodge with the other members. Thankfully, one of the members had an extra headlamp for me to use. Once we got into the lodge, we started unloading the groceries. Dry foods got hung on hooks suspended from the kitchen ceiling, and everything else was stuffed into the propane-run refrigerator. It wasn't as big as I was expecting. You walk in through the narrow hallway and into the kitchen. There are 2 large ovens, a small wood stove in the corner, and a large counter. To the left of the kitchen, there is a massive wooden table that could comfortably sit 30, and directly in front of it sit 2 checkered couches and a big fireplace. Above the kitchen and the living room, there are bunk rooms, where you must climb a ladder to get to. After groceries were taken care of, Dan swiftly turned into a drill sergeant, quizzing and giving members in training orders on how to open the lodge. Uncle Rich started the fire. After everything was done, everyone warmed up by the fire, got their sleeping pads situated in the bunk rooms, and eventually went to bed. The next day was Thanksgiving morning, and Dan cooked all 20 of us pancakes. Afterwards, we broke up into 2 groups, one for skiers and one for hikers. I was a hiker. 3 hours into the hike, when I thought we had reached our final destination, I realized we had just reached the bottom of the peak that we were going to climb. Soon after that, I began regretting my decision to tag along. The hike ended up being 7 hours long, but the view at the top and the feeling of accomplishment it gave me was worth it. That night, the Thanksgiving feast was incredible. Turkey, filet mignon, stuffing, potatoes, green beans, and so many other things covered the large wooden table, and everyone went to bed that night with very happy stomachs. After dinner, we all played card games. The remaining days were filled with more satisfyingly exhausting trips, great food, and even better company. Everyone acted like one big, slightly rugged and unbathed family. I will never forget my trip to the lodge.